I don't know shit.
I don't know.
I don't know shit.
Coley, go ask Preacher Man.
I don't know shit.
He says he knows.
Yeah, I don't know shit.
Go ask Mr. Politician.
I don't know shit.
He says he knows. But me?
Yeah, I don't know shit.
Hey guys, I rarely do this, but I'm gonna show the other side of my existence. Sometimes it's sad. It's not all always up and positive like I try to keep it. Sometimes it's sad, and I feel a little sad right now. I was just crying. It's raining. It's the start of Mercury retrograde. My mom's stressed out thinking that she might have had a stroke or something. Mad at myself for any stress I've ever caused my mother. I'm mad at myself for any stress I've ever caused anyone. I'm mad at COVID for doing this to so many people and hurting so many lives. It really threw a wrench in a lot of people's minds, and I have my beliefs on how it started and why it started, but regardless, it has been a tough time over the past couple of years for everybody. And what I'd like to talk about on today's podcast to work through it is the idea of blame. Blame is a really tricky concept. When things happen in life or in the world, we look for who to blame, what's to blame. Do we blame the other people? Do we blame ourselves? Do we blame China for manufacturing the COVID virus? Do we blame the universe or the earth for creating the COVID virus because it came from an animal, natural? We don't know. It's above my pay grade. I don't know whether it came from a lab or from, natural cause, but either or, it's like who do we blame for this? It's like who do we blame? And then in the U.S. we're looking at each other and we're blaming each other, and we're like, okay, no, it's your fault the pandemic didn't go well. No, it's your fault the pandemic didn't go well. And the left says we should have done more masking and vaccines and stuff, and the right says no, it should have been more freedom. And it's like we're just blaming each other, and then Trump blames Fauci, and Fauci, and I gotta be honest, I think a lot of this blame game stuff starts with Trump. Everybody's just pointing like this, and that's what he does. And I think we just need a different way forward. We need to look within. In Buddhism, they say place all blames with oneself. So I'm going to start and say all the problems in my life are my fault, my bad. I have clearly had karma from my own actions, thoughts, and otherwise that have led me to where I'm at. And to be honest, for the most part, I'm extremely happy where I'm at. I'm excessively happy where I'm at. So I love my karma. But there's also negative karma you got to work through too, and past pains and hurts, and some of them are very physical, like medical stuff from long haul COVID or having COVID, and the thought of your mother feeling ill because of long haul, or related stress, related pain. You start pointing fingers and you start being like, what's causing this? And I think the whole world's, China's blaming U.S. is blaming Russia. Russia's blaming U.S. and it's like everybody's blaming each other, when really it's like we should all blame ourselves and blame no one. On one hand, blame nobody. I mean, it's nobody's fault. The world and life just goes the way it goes. Like, beautiful things happen and fucked up things happen. Both happen. This vlog is probably all over the place because I'm not in the pocket right now. I feel very emotional. But I thought it was important to also show this, so it's not just all pocket Tao, because no person is in Tao or Nirvana or peak zone, whatever you want to call it, 100% of the time. No one is, and we all have to do with the daily maintenance of living and taking care of our families and friends and illnesses happen and injuries happen and death happens and all sorts of wild shit happens. My father died last year, probably COVID related. He just died in his sleep. His heart just stopped, and this was, a couple weeks after having COVID. People are losing their lives from this virus or related things to this virus. People are losing their lives. It's really really messed up. And I know myself, I've been a little off since I've had COVID, because I have the long haul COVID, so it gives you the brain fog and weird physical symptoms and all sorts of nasty stuff. But I don't know who to blame. Because it just is. On one hand, I think the healthiest is probably either placing oneself or blaming nobody and just do the best from where we're at. That's probably the ticket, right? Just, blaming oneself is better than blaming out, but that hurts you too. Then now you're blaming yourself and you hurt yourself, and now you can have so much guilt you're crying, and so that don't feel good either. I guess it helps learning and stuff, but at the end of the day, maybe let's just not blame anybody. Let's just do the best we can from right here. Just do the best we can from right here. I think that's all we got. I think that's all we can do. So I'm going to try to do the best I can from right here. I hope you do the best you can from right here, and I love you all.